The top part of my presentation talks about relationships, things I wish I knew and practiced about relationships. It's a difficult situation for a student who is so busy to create or strike a balance between, the busy academic life and necessary social relationships. Man is made a social being, and we cannot stay away from people, friends, families, relatives, and our acquaintances as much as we have new friendships even within our new environment. And so, about relationship, it's necessary to work with the principle of selectiveness. Friends must be few but good. Relationships that we maintain must be few but very good. And this means there are compulsory relationships you must maintain. Relationship with your immediate family, relationships, with your relatives, with supportive friends who have been there over the years. Relationship with your sponsors, your funders, and benefactors. This must be carefully maintained. And this is deliberate keeping in touch, not only when you need something, or when you need some help, or when you need some urgent money, urgent cash, urgent assistance. No, it must be maintained. You must be genuinely interested in their welfare, not just in because of what you will get or at the times you need them to make some supplies to you. And so selectiveness is important. That way we're able to know what and where to channel your time, and you communicate with them, those who you have to keep these relationships with, these relationships you must maintain. They need to know your schedule, they need to know what time you're in class, they need to know what time you can take calls, they need to know what time you can reply their messages, they need to know at what time is best to talk and at what time you're free, to interact. There's need for clear communication, but you cannot have clear communication if you yourself is not organized and creating some boundaries. You must be organized, you must have your schedule, it must be clearly mapped out to see where is free, where you can put such social relationship, probably replying messages on social media, making some calls, making some interaction, or going see someone, going if you're in a place where your relatives are close by, traveling down to check on them. There's need for this balance to be struck between your social life and your academic life, so that none of them suffers adversely because of giving more attention to the other. And it's important that you also think of seeking help when you fail to make this balance, or whether there are misunderstandings, or whether there are challenges. You seek help, and there are a lot of persons who are able to provide this help. There could be close mentors, counselors, or pastors and religious leaders who are trusted and who understand the challenges that you face as an undergrad, who have been there before. Seek help when you need it. Don't be silent. For the sake of your mental overall health, is important, to seek help at any time you need it. And sometimes in the course of our friendships, we cannot escape relating with the opposite gender. And of course, it's something that we cannot escape. But in doing this, there are things we must take note of. There are things you must practice. There are things you must know. Sometimes emotion is stronger than knowledge. And so it takes intentionality to take a mark, to look closely at these issues and ensure that you are sticking to principles that will help your fingers not to be burnt in undue closeness with the opposite gender. The first thing is to define and clarify. There is constant callings, there is constant interactions, close interactions. Things need to be defined. What is this? Where are you going? Oh, is this something or is what exactly? What is it going to be? Things need to be put in perspectives to define what the relationship is about, if it is necessary to have any of such. And if where it is unavoidable to have, relate with the opposite gender for any reason, maybe in a study group or what have you, there should be no flirtation, no showing or display of, amorous kind of behavior, around such people to avoid trespassing the boundaries that may have been set, either by you or by the person as well. For moral purity, for your mental health as well, it's important that flirtation is kept far away from such relationship. It ends in ruin. It breaks friendship. It breaks trust, and it reduces the value of a person. There are a lot of silent struggles that people go through because of such amorous relationship, and they make you feel that everything is all well. Maybe you who is trying to be strict and who is trying to be straight, who is trying to follow the principle of moral purity, maybe you're missing out something. You're missing out nothing. You're only missing out on their struggles. You're missing out on their failures. You're missing out on their addictions. You're missing out on their anger, on their jealousy, on their pain, on their disturbances and other additional commitments, load, and things they have carried upon themselves. And so flirtation is a no if there is any reason to relate with an opposite gender. The thought is to keep things in perspective. What is the boundary that has been set already? What are the agreements that have been made? What is the direction of the relationship? It must be kept in perspective, just like the tailor when they're trying to sew a piece of cloth and the thing is going in one direction. No, the fingers are there to keep it in perspective, to ensure that it goes in the path that it should go. And this is what our relationships ought to be: clearly defined and void of flirtation and kept in perspective. And finally, beware of your feelings. Like I've said as I started this session, emotion is stronger than knowledge. When emotion seems to be whelming, when there is a surge of lust, it has to be, it shouldn't be swept away. When jealousy is creeping in, when unnecessary and frequent anger is coming in, and when such kind of negative emotions are coming in, it is time to sit back. It is time to speak to someone. Remember, I said seek help. Speak to someone, a trusted person, a mature person about this, to receive the counsel that you need on how to handle such feelings and such relationships for your own good, so you don't ruin yourself and burn your fingers. Thank you for following so far. And so far, I have talked about the things to know and practice as an undergraduate. I started with talking about the university as the place for holistic, personal, and intellectual development for future career opportunities. And I have said that we must take advantage of the networking and learning resources in the university to chart our future course, to build a path for ourselves and carve a niche. And as we read, we must read to assimilate. We preview the material, we read actively, we review and summarize the material, we repeat this process, and we connect with others. And for religion, get into the Christian family, grow, connect, relate, and serve the church, the body of Christ, the body of believers, and be grounded firm in the scriptures. Select your relationships, communicate, be open, organize, and balance yourself. Seek help when you need it. And if you must operate and come close to the opposite gender in relationship as a student, define this relationship. There must not be flex. You must avoid flirtations, and then keep things in perspective and monitor your feeling. And when something is going off, when there is lust, when there is jealousy, when there is undue anger, then it's time to reevaluate the relationship, to put it under the scrutiny of a neutral, mature person, to either terminate it or to redefine it. And this is all about my presentation today. I hope that you have enjoyed the time. I would say thank you very much for listening. And you can reach me on any of this social media. You can follow me. You can interact with my content on Facebook, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, and on YouTube. I post videos about scholarship opportunities and tips on my YouTube channel, Scholarship Gen. And I post a lot of opportunities on LinkedIn and Facebook, as well as Twitter. So kindly follow me, and I look forward to connecting with you in the future and interacting more and sharing more. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your time, and see you in the interaction session.